All right. Well, thanks very much, Stick, for joining me today. It's great to have you here for a quick chat, just so you can share to everybody else your experiences down at BodyLean and what you went through. But I think because you've got a really, really interesting story of what led you to coming down to BodyLean. So I'll let you share with that, and then we can talk about the results that you've had so
Yeah,
far.
good. Thank you for asking me to have a chat, Andrew.
Oh, no
My background is that age 68, I had quite a bad skiing accident, shattered my femur, and plate and pins and all that sort of thing, long hospitalisation, followed by 18 months of physiotherapy, which had quite a limited effect, no matter how much I did, etc. So I decided to take a step out into the unknown and thinking of gym training under controlled situation as potentially speeding up my mobility, because after 18 months I still had very, very little mobility in my leg. I couldn't get down and up off the ground, and couldn't even put my own socks and trousers and
I
things like
remember
that
you
on.
said to me that was one of your goals, is I just want to be able to put my socks on.
Yep, and my own shoes. So I did that. So I went to Andrew at BodyLean. I hadn't had any reference or referral or anything like that, and just had a chat to him, told him what my situation was and whether he'd talked to the physiotherapist who'd been treating me. He said he knew that he could help me. He talked to my physiotherapist to make sure that he understood where she was at in terms of the treatment that she'd been giving me. And we started, first of all, 3 times a week for 30 minutes, one-on-one training under fairly controlled conditions. And in a very short time, I noticed quite a significant difference in what was happening. The other thing that really impressed me was that Andrew didn't just look on me as a leg that needed fixing. He actually looked at overall my health and well-being as a person approaching 70, because I was by this time, and identified that in the period of 18 months inactivity that I'd had due to the limitations of my leg, I had put on quite a lot of weight. I was actually 93 kilograms, which was way and above more than I'd ever been. And he said, let's look, I understand what your mobility and flexibility goals are, but let's have a look at another goal. And that as regards your weight, are you interested in engaging with that? And I thought, yep, I am absolutely interested. And I haven't managed it on my own, but with someone encouraging and to whom I was accountable, it made incredible difference. So over the space of the next 12 months, kept up a good regime like that. I lost 14 kilograms, so I got down to below 80 kilograms for the first time in a very long time. I'd never felt more healthy and just well-being about it, and the flexibility. I was gardening more. I certainly could put my socks and shoes off, which my wife was extremely pleased about. And everything was going along swimmingly. Went for a long holiday overseas, which was physically quite demanding, which I stood up to really well. Came back, had put 1 kilogram on in 8 weeks of a lot of eating and that sort of thing. 2 weeks after that, I had a bad accident managing my trailer. Ended up having to have a bowel resection and a long scar in my abdomen.
Just to keep things interesting for me.
Yeah.
and another challenge.
Another challenge. And the thing about that was, as soon as the surgeon would permit me to get back into any sort of exercise, I re-engaged with Andrew. Well, actually, it wasn't true I re-engaged, because at all times during that time, he'd stayed in touch with me, asked how I was getting on, etc., etc. So it was that personal relationship and the care and attention that he took to that made me sure yet again that I'd done exactly the right thing by going to BodyLean and being involved with Andrew, because other trainers at BodyLean had been taking me through my regime as well. So it wasn't just one person, it was the whole outfit. So as soon as I was able to, got back into it, different sets of exercises and limitations, etc. And Andrew's always incredibly careful about what I can and can't do because of my age, because of the injury that I'd had, the second injury I'd had. But through it all, I felt totally confident in the advice that he's given me. He's never pushed me beyond the point that I think I should go, but he certainly asked me to push myself. And that's really good. So yesterday you did, or last time you did 12 repetitions of this. Today we're going to do 15, and it's always at exactly the right time. But he keeps careful note. So once, you know, with another trainer, when there was a misunderstanding of the exercise I was doing, straight on to the fact that, okay, let's drop that back 4 kilograms because it's just too much. So it's that personal care and attention that makes a huge difference. I've kept the weight off, been a little bit harder since we've been in lockdown, but Andrew's been in contact over that period. He's given me exercise regimes which are fit for and I can do at home. I've kept those up, and I'm pleased with having done that. I couldn't recommend BodyLean and Andrew and his staff more highly. They have made a huge difference to my well-being and fitness and just generally the enjoyment of life that I now get. I always enjoyed life, but I just feel so much better now as a direct result.
And Dick's an absolute pleasure to come down to the gym, such a positive character. So when you first came down to the gym and we sat down, we had a chat for an hour just to understand yourself and your situation in a little bit more detail, you hadn't heard of BodyLean before. Did you have any reservations about joining, or
look, I went in it into it with an open mind, because I always do go into things with open mind, but I had not decided that that was the right thing to do necessarily. I had a gut feeling that using gym equipment for physical rehabilitation was going to speed the process up over and above the sort of floor exercises and things like that that I've been doing with the physiotherapist. She wasn't, she wasn't leaping at the idea. Certainly didn't see me as wanting to continue with her. She's actually a personal friend, so she wouldn't just see me as an endless exercise or anything like that. But the thing was that I thought Andrew immediately got what it was about for me. He was willing to talk to Kirsten, the physiotherapist, so that this would be a handover if that was appropriate. Secondly, he told me that he had experience in rehabilitation exercise for other people and in other circumstances, and I got a sense of confidence. He's a listener, picks up on signals from what you say really well, as I've just talked about in a physical sense, but also, as I recollect, picked up my reservations, or at least my concerns, and understood that I was exploring the idea, and that he said, well, let's give it a go. And that's exactly what I did. And I'm so pleased I did.
Wow. My one reservation is that I'll never get to see you on the ski field. That's what I see.
Yeah, I feel as though I'd like to be up to it, but my wife actually has got rid of my ski gear because she's sold it all because she thinks I'm an old idiot.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'd love to see, but we know it's not going to happen.
No,
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Hey, Dick, really appreciate that. I don't have anything further to say. You hit nail on the head on all of those, and I think everyone's got the message pretty loud and clear.
Yeah. Well, absolutely ace. Top recommendation. Can't wait. Well, I mean, the last irony is that we come off lockdown on Thursday, but the day before I'm having an operation, so another operation. I'll have that. I'll recover from that, and then I'll be back to BodyLean.
We'll work around it again. All right. Thanks very much, Dick.
Okay. Cheers, Andrew.
Thank you.
Yeah, go well.